everybody. Welcome to Tea Time with Lynn and happy Women's History Month. While you're joining in, hey, Lord Eels.
What's up? How you doing?
Nothing much. Hey, everybody, while you're joining in, go ahead and share this live with about 5 of your friends. Tell them to join and see what we're talking about. How are you, Lord Eels?
I'm doing well. How you been, Lynn?
Good. It's so good to see you.
Likewise.
Man, how long has it been that we've seen each other in person?
In person? Man.
Yeah,
I don't know. Right? When was the last time you've been at the museum? I don't know. Probably like maybe 4 years, probably 4.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah.
It was a long time. Like a lot. It just seems like ages ago, doesn't it?
Right. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But let me turn off my Wi-Fi on my phone to make sure it doesn't give me any technical difficulties today.
Okay.
And then I'm going to start this intro. Hey, everyone that is joining us on Instagram Live for Tea Time with Lynn. My name is Lynn Solar, and my co-host or my co-star of the day is hip-hop artist Laura Eels and one of my creative friends. So this series is designed to highlight my creative friends, have them tell us about their journeys, self-care, their purpose, love and relationships, and I don't know, whatever else comes to mind. We're just having a good conversation. We love for you to engage with us. So if you have any questions, go ahead and hit the question mark and ask away. It can be for me or Lord Eels or the both of us. And then don't forget to share with your friends. And I'm going to pin, and don't forget to follow us. If you don't know me or if you don't know Lord Eels, the purpose of this is to build more connections too. So go ahead and tap the top and follow us and then come back. Okay, so I don't want to lose you, but make sure you come back because we're going to talk about some good stuff. So, Lord Eels, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Why don't you go ahead? Of course. Why don't you go ahead and just tell people a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Well, I'm here because we're going to be talking probably mainly about me being a hip-hop artist, but I'm a multi-genre artist, so hip-hop, graphic illustration, photography is one of my main passions, and just being, creative content maker. I do mini docs when I get the chance and time to do that as well. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell as far as on my creative side, if I want to summarize it.
Yeah, that's a lot. Artists be like, yeah, I do this and I do this. We be listing out 10 titles and then be like, I mean,
right.
Right. It's like there's nothing else left. No, but
it's a lot left, but yeah.
Yeah, it's right. So that is so awesome. I can't remember I'm always trying to figure out like the first time I've met all of my friends. I can't remember the first time we met, but I know we met at the museum. I know it was probably like, I feel like it was like Joey introduced us or whatever.
It was.
Shout out to Joey Price.
Shout out to Joey because he got me to the museum. He got me working there. So yeah, shout out to him for sure.
Sweet. Did you all knew each other before the museum?
So this is a part of the journey. Yeah. If you want to get into that. This is gonna be a part of the journey, so okay. Shout out to Joey Price once again. But me and him met at my first hip hop show, like my first show, and it was at Reggie's Rock Club. So yes, so
Chicago.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, for Chicago, all day, every day. So we first met at Reggie's Rock Club. It was a great event. I went on with 3 of my other friends, and we performed. It was like a great experience for all of us because it was the biggest crowd we've done so far. It was my first crowd, so it was cool. Yeah. And he was one of the standout artists there, so me and him linked up. I got his mixtape, checked it out, and I randomly ended up bumping into him on the subway, and then so he was like, "Oh yeah, they hiring at the museum," so that's how I became a museum science and industry rep. You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome. So you're the first creative that's also got on here and mentioned one of your jobs. For all of you all that don't know, many creatives we have. Not only do we have all of our creative jobs, usually we are also working a part-time job that's got like the maximum part-time hours, or we're working a full-time job. So just keep that in the back of you all's minds. And we typically don't really, like, sometimes we share about the jobs, you know, like if they're like connected to what we do and they help us grow. So the museum, me and Laura Eels, we met each other at one of our jobs, the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago. And I'm not working there anymore. Are you still working? No. Right. Okay. I was like, I don't know what's happening. So anyway, all that to the side, we're gonna be talking about the journey today. We're gonna have like some sprinkles of self-care, but I want you to come back. And so, like, for me, I don't know about you, but self-care is like a whole nother journey in itself. So we're gonna sprinkle some things into it. But I would love to have you come back and have a full segment about self-care.
For sure.
Yeah. So, okay, let's talk about, let me make sure I have my questions up too. Let's talk about the journey. When did you get started in music?
Oh, man. So that started maybe around high school. I wasn't serious about, I'm a fan before anything. I'm going to just say that off the rip. So being a fan is like from maybe 6 years old, I can remember reciting Biggie in kindergarten. Or even before that, you know what I'm saying? So that was just doing that, which I shouldn't have been doing. I don't know why, but just being a fan was a huge deal. But my older brother, he's a producer. He's a music producer. You flipping?
Yeah. I thought, you know what, because the air holes were like that, I thought it was gonna put you on the top and me at the bottom. Anyway.
Right. Nah, so him being a music producer, since like he was a teen, has always sparked my interest in it. My mind.
What happened?
Are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, so the technical part of music, like for my brother's end, I was not messing with like the production. I'm good on that.
Yeah.
The buttons and stuff, that's rocket science. So I would say in high school, you know, I'd be freestyling here and there. You know, that was the most I've done. And then right after high school, my brother he was just recording more and more. So I got with him and I recorded maybe 2 songs with him. I feel like we all have those songs and pieces of artwork where we just like, it was a start. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, like, that's the foundation.
Exactly. Right. And I wasn't necessarily bad, but of course I wasn't polished. You know what I'm saying? Like I still wasn't comfortable with my voice. But I had a good backing on how I wanted to attack the rap game in a sense. So when he left for Cali, it was pretty much like a done deal, you know. So one day I found myself in the mailroom of my school. I was going to the Illinois Institute of Art, and we're just I'm in the mailroom packaging, you know, doing my work study, and we get a new worker, and he's a hip hop artist. He goes by Bay Bro. He's out of Flint, Michigan. Shout out to him.
Okay.
So one day we just started freestyling and this and that. He's like, "Oh man, you dope." I'm like, I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm all right. Getting one of those. So what's up, Scoop Feet? What's good? That's family over there. People's from Colorado. Always been repping, always been supporting.
Oh, that's super.
Yeah, most definitely. So we freestyling in the mailroom, and next thing you know, he say, "Hey, let's go to the studio." And then I'm like, "All right, cool. Saturday we go to the studio." But we actually went the day before to talk to this gentleman. His name was XL Cruz or Alex Cruz, which is now like a brother, in a sense.
I think I know him.
You probably know Cruz.
Yeah. That's engineer, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I was in the studio with Joey one time because me and Joey have a track, so yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Cruz is like that's one of my main peoples right there.
Okay.
So if off rip, I didn't really wasn't feeling him because he wasn't trying to sell me some Jordans that I had sitting on the speakers. So I'm like, oh man, I'm not liking this dude off rip. Like, man, I want them J's, but he act like he don't want to sell them to me.
That's crazy.
So I come back, I think that Saturday with some True Blue Jordan 3s. Like, I got my own Jordan, so I don't need to buy from you. So it was like that was like the start of that whole relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I guess me and Corey did a track, and then I did my own track. It was like a solo track called Sick Fit, where I was just spitting, and like Cruz hit me up like after the session, was like, bro, like I want you to come back to the studio and just record as much as you can possibly. So that was kind of like an agreement that he kind of made with me and him, you know, with that in a sense. And that's how our relationship started.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what made me start taking rapping seriously, because of course I had the support of my friend, but seeing somebody that I never met tell me like, yo, I love your sound, I love your music.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then comparing me to certain artists of the caliber that I'm not even going to compare myself to just yet. But I'm like, yo,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is mad dope. So that was the start of that.
That's cool.
I just booking it ever since.
Yeah. So you touched on some things that I haven't gotten to cover with other creatives on yet, but you talked about like just the relationship building of it all. Like, you know, at the foundation of being a creative is that we have to build these relationships. Like we have to make friends, we have to forge collaborations, and like the creative process is such a very personal process that we want to make sure that the people that we're collabing with and that we're sharing with do feel like friends, feel like family, or at least at the bare minimum, just feel like somebody that has integrity and we can trust them with our stuff. But yeah, something else you mentioned about relationships. Let's see. Well, you talked about agreements. Can you talk a little bit about like just how relationships have was specifically like in this moment, I'm hearing how like having somebody affirm you, even though, you know, maybe you don't need it, maybe you do, but as a new artist, fresh starting out, having people that actually say something to you, tell me like what that means and how that helps you to like flourish and grow.
This is gonna sound crazy, but I feel like everybody can relate to it. When you become my friend, I stop low-key, hold on. Are you froze? Oh, you good? I kind of stopped believing your input. I'm not even trying to be petty, like, and it's gonna sound like, well, how can I be your friend? Because it's like, I feel like friends or people that just like love you don't want to hurt your feelings and this and that. So I feel, and this is something this kind of goes back to self-care too, but this is something I've personally worked on was, you know, just taking what people, not everything for a grain of salt and everything, but like, you got to believe in people too. Because my main thing, I was always like, I kept on waiting on that person to tell me like, yo, this is not good. Like I had a feeling that I'm waiting on somebody in my group to be like, okay, do this, do that. But everybody was like, this is dope, this is dope. So I'm like, okay, is it dope, or are you guys just telling me that? So when a stranger approaches me and tells me like, hey, okay, which is sad, but you know, I've been working on that too. You know what I'm saying? Like believing people, you know, let them know. But I feel like for everybody, it's always just a little bit better to hear it from an unbiased person. That like what you're doing is like dope. You know what I'm saying? So because it's like they're not invested in you in a sense, like emotionally. They haven't been there. Right. See the journey, so it's like, okay, cool, okay, I am people outside of my circle.
That's cool. Yeah, I definitely vibe with that. You know what's funny though? Like when I first got started, you're frozen a little bit, but I can hear you.
I can hear you too. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, now you're back. Okay. So like my creative team, like the people that were like my circle that was helping me become this artist, they were totally hard on me. And it was like one of my mentors, shout out to Shala, he's like just harsh because, you know, wanting me to do well, wanting me to succeed and exceed expectations. Right. And, you know, creatives are naturally perfectionists anyway. So it was like they're perfectionists and then pushing me and then my perfectionist. And it was more so like at that time I was less of a perfectionist, but more of a people pleaser. And so it's just like, oh my God, like it's a lot going on. But I agree with you. Like it's nice to hear someone who doesn't know you, and that way you feel like, okay, they're not just gassing me up. Like exactly. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. I definitely get that too. Now, before I move on any forward, before I move on, I want to say what's up to those that have just joined us. Welcome from wherever you are. Go ahead and drop your city and your state or whatever, and say what's up. If you have any comments, definitely add to the comment section. If you have any questions for Laura Eels or for me, yes, you can go ahead and hit that in the questions too, because we want to engage with you. This is a conversation, not an interview. And so we definitely want to have you in the conversation too. Okay. So back to this journey. Okay. We only scratched the surface. Okay. So tell me about what happened then. Like you had your first show, you had this music you were working on. Like what happens next in this journey?
So I'm trying to think. This is probably around 2012. This is 2012. Mm-hmm. So around that time, it was pretty much the start. You know, I would just be releasing tracks, a lot more. But I to this day, I never really released like a project. It's probably many EPs and stuff like that. Yeah. But I kind of was just releasing tracks because in my mind, I'm already looking. I think I was kind of just forward thinking, like, you know, albums. I'm not seeing me putting too much energy into it in a sense, because I know you know for certain as far as what goes into it. And I love your project, by the way. Oh,
thank you.
Oh yeah, most definitely. It's a rotation all day. And we waiting on another one. I think I told you that last week.
Yes,
but you know what I'm saying? So I was more like, I'm just gonna be dropping singles, and people are like, hey, don't be doing that. Drop a mixtape. We want a mixtape. I'm not giving you mixtapes. I'm just gonna be honest with you, because you know, all those tracks. And then at the time, it's like my buzz wasn't nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what, I'm gonna do all this, invest all this time, and then it's like 10 people go hear it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So going the single route and being able to maybe drop them like once a month and let it rock. Yeah. I started getting buzz throughout like the underground community, in the sense of like underground hip hop being like more of the, a lot of people like to say 90s, but it's boom bap. You know, you got certain genres of hip hop, but more that boom bap, hard hitting sound, like, you know, woo and everything. So I started getting a lot of followers through that in a sense, and it started helping me build up locally. So I did start getting like local shows. Okay. Shout out to the Jungle. Shout out to my boy Mike Fest. He started doing Mike Fest shows, and that's what got me really like into being on stage and more comfortable being on stage. Even though my first show, to bring that up, was like I was not nervous.
Whoa!
Like so the days coming up to the show, I was like, oh my God, how am I gonna do this? And then I think at one point I was like, gee, if you're nervous, you're bound to fail. You're bound to embarrass yourself.
Dang, that's an interesting perspective.
So go on that stage and command everything you see. Yeah. And I was like, yo, that's how I'm just gonna attack it and let me do it. Because like, if I go up there nervous, people are gonna see it. It's gonna project. Right. So go up there like you've been doing this for 100 years. So that's what I did, and like, it was a great response. Like I gained some people from that. But after doing a lot of the singles and stuff, doing some of the smaller shows, I get bumped up to like, you know, bigger bills. As far as like opening up for other MCs, which this was kind of crazy because I've always had these dreams of like doing shows with certain artists within hip hop that I've always wanted to meet. Like I said, I'm being a fan.
Right.
But I never thought they would happen the way they did. I always thought like I got to go through management. I got to go through this and be on the label and all this crazy stuff. And then you find out, what's up, Key? What's up, Key? That's my boy over there, Key of NC. A great producer, by the way. But I always looked at it like you got to go through the proper channels for certain things. But it goes back to what you said, relationships. You know what I'm saying? And this goes back to that saying, opportunity meeting preparation will get you into certain places. So that was great doing shows at the Subterranean Sub T.
Okay.
And then, going on Tuesday nights, 606 doing the hip hop. They asked me top 5 producers. That's gonna be a hard one. But going to Sub T was like, that was like my 8 Mile. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So that's how I really felt. Cause like Alex used to talk to me like, oh man, you guys need to go to Sub T's on Tuesday nights. But I was not, I wasn't 21 yet. So like my mind was just like, oh my God, I can't wait. So when I went, it was like heaven in the sense like, oh my God, I get to rock the mic, freestyle amongst people. And then that made me like even a little bit more hungry. It like just made my mind like, let's do this even more. So those shows were great. And then I think I'm trying to see what came first. I think it was either the random Instagram post that kind of changed a lot for me.
Okay.
Or I think I did start doing more. But I'm gonna go get to that a little bit later. I don't know if you have anything else to ask me.
I do. First of all,
I know you do.
My mind is like doing like this. Like I want y'all to know that while I'm sitting here like this, I got like 25 questions to ask, and I see we got some really good questions too in the comment section. So you touched on some really good stuff here. I'm gonna go ahead and like read some of the comments. You got some love on your singles. I was listening to some of your singles on Apple Music before starting. I was like, oh, this reminds me of music of my youth.
Okay.
It just got a good vibe to it, and it's crazy. Like I've listened like to every one of like your last few singles that you posted, but I've always been at work. So when I listen to them, they've been like my phone, my earbuds. But today I was listening from these speakers, and I was like,
they bump, don't they? They bump, don't they? Peace to Cruise, man. Peace to Cruise.
Damn, I should have been listening to these songs on my home speakers or in my car speakers, because these are bumping. Like these are like some driving down Lakeshore Drive in the summertime track, and I love that on everything. So
that 85 Rich. That 85 Rich, man. Oh man, I was watching Paid in Full one day, and I was like, let me do it.
Yeah, that's dope. Far Beyond, Staff of Moses Nova, those are amazing. I love them. So okay, so our first question is top 5 producers of all time. You ready for that one?
That's impossible, but top 5? Top 5. No order. My big brother, DJ Premier, Madlib, Kanye West. Ooh, I'm sorry, man. This is gonna be hard, yo. They gotta fight for this position, but I'm gonna have to say I gotta put Pete Rock right there. Pete Rock. Yeah.
Cool. What age did you start music?
Seriously, I started at the age of 20.
20, okay. And so then when you consider like your first musical moment, how old were you there? Like that moment when you just started, where you can remember feeling that like warm and fuzzy, you might want to be an artist, or you might.
Oh man. I would say 5th grade. Because I used to watch Video Music Box a lot, Rap City. And just, you know, this is where the bling era was like exploding. So I wanted that. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be like, you know, like, shit, I wanted to be in the Hot Boys driving Prowlers through Miami. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted that. So that was a part of the inspiration. But the crazy thing about it is, like, I grew up on that, but then, like, mentally, like, my mind steered into a different direction as far as the content I wanted to create within hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like, every music has its place, but I was never like the party dude, but I still love party music to a degree. But after a while, I was becoming that the hip hop scholar. Okay. More of like being a student of hip hop. Yes. So after learning so much about it, I would say this, and I feel like we do need to change. But like, I was that hip hop head that was like, anything commercial is just trash. Yeah. And to a degree, I still feel the same way. But I'm finding a respect for certain people and the way they go about their music too, because at the end of the day, we're all artists, and you know. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Woo! Okay, you touched on something good. I call it professional development, but oh my God, being a student of your craft, like, that's why it's craft, right? Right. So, okay, when did you start to say? Not even when did you start? Tell me about the moment where you knew that, okay, I need to put some studying in. I need to study XYZ people. Like, what was your process for learning whatever you felt like you needed to learn in order to be the artist that you wanted to be?
So it comes to a point, and I feel like anybody that wants to take the title of being an MC, it comes to a point to where you hear certain people spit, and you just like, how do you put these rhyme schemes together? How do you get the proper wordage for, like, you know, like the vocab, syllables, and this and that? So it's like you go back. My thing is, like, I go back to each era, okay, and see, okay, who was the most technical or innovative of that time and in that era? Because, you know, we like to be like, who's the best rapper of all time? Right. I can't say you can put that into like one perspective, because you got different eras and where the game was different. So what made me do that was like listening to I would say Lupe Fiasco. Okay. Common and Lupe Fiasco, first of all, are like one of the biggest inspirations, of course, being from Chicago, and then just the style of music that they make. But listening to them cats, I was like, man, like, how can I get to that point? You know what I'm saying? And first of all, Lupe would make me just want to quit rap, because it's like the way he just like creates, and like, it's like, it would be like a metaphor or a double entendre, if you want to say double entendre, but it'd be like a quadruple, you know what I'm saying? Like, it would be like 12 meanings to one bar. And I'd be like, you know what? If I can't do it to that scale, let me just not do it at all. But that's what made me like want to get there. Like, I'm still chasing that creative like power, in the sense of like, how can I get to a point where I can still make music to where, like, in a sense, like, I can make it for everybody. Yeah. But how can I get my writing to the point where it's like I love that making people think part. You know what I'm saying? Like, enjoy the music, but make people think too, like, man, you know what I'm saying? So that's, I say around maybe like 05, 06, I was really into like learning how to write, because I was doing more poetry around this time, actually. I wasn't doing hip hop, but like more poetry writing too. So
okay, cool. So for anyone that's watching now or the replay, like, if like, what piece of advice would you give someone who is an artist, or aspiring to be an artist, or considering it? What would you say to them about the process when it comes to learning and studying?
I would say process-wise, for me, go at your own pace. Ooh, for sure. Don't ever rush, because I've rushed things and didn't like it. I'm gonna bring up a something. I would say maybe around 2015. I did a track for a Japanese b-boy group out of Japan.
Okay. That's exciting.
Yeah, it was.
You said it like, yeah, I went to the grocery store and got some Skittles. Like,
but no. And it's like it's like a cool. It's cool, and it's something that I really don't put out there. But I kind of like being low key. Yeah. But so I did this track, and it's dope. But at the same time, I wish I had a little bit more time to be creative. But like, you know, this DJ that I know from out there hit me up and they're like, yo, I need this track in like 3 hours. So like, I went to the jungle, nailed it, but I wasn't proud of it like I wanted to be. You know what I'm saying? So it was something like that. Yeah. But it's like an accolade that I hold to myself, because like, even though I'm not on the track with him, I'm still featured on the same album as Busta Rhymes. So that's cool. Like, and it's like a legit, and it's like a legit project too. So that was cool. But those are one of those verses where I'm like, nah, I'm good. It doesn't show my full ability, I feel like. Okay. But it was still a learning process too. You know what I'm saying? So like, my thing is, I'm the type of person to where I write little by little and piece by piece. Yeah. So it can be like, I'm on the train, I'm probably at the job, I'll be behind the desk writing, you know what I'm saying, writing a quick little bar, and then I come together later and piece it. Like, it's been times like I would write a verse and I wouldn't record until like 2 years later. You know what I'm saying? It's just like that. You know? So you know, I was never like the speedy person, which I'm getting much better at it now. Yeah. But go at your own pace, because when you do that, you're more satisfied with the outcome. You know, don't try to rush it. Yeah. You know,
I really love that. You know why? Because I am very goal oriented. So if you tell me to do something, or if I say, yeah, I'm gonna do this thing, like, I'm on this timeline and I'm just like rushing it, and I'm giving myself anxiety at the same time, because
right.
I'm trying to like meet this deadline that is like, first of all, why is that the deadline? Second of all, what's gonna happen if you pass the deadline? And third of all, like you said, like, you want it to be ready. And so I totally get it. Like, I'm in a space right now, which is why you haven't seen any like recent music from me.
Which, don't listen to me, but I'm just saying, right, we waiting on you. We waiting on you.
Right. I'm like, I released that album and I was like, ooh. I gotta sit down.
But I bet the weight was lifted, right?
Yep, it did. It really did. And it took like 5 years to actually write this album. So I was like, first of all, I thought it was going to be done in like 6 months to a year. Third of all, where did 5 years go? Like,
back.
Let's see. What's up to everybody that's joined? We've got a great amount of people that have joined while you were answering that last question. If you all have any questions or comments for us, definitely drop them in the chat, or put them in that question section of Instagram Live. Thank you so much for joining Tea Time with Lynn. This is my new baby of 2021. I am highlighting my creative friends, and we're chatting about self-care, the journey, our purpose, love and relationships, and just whatever else we feel like talking about, because we can.
Thanks.
So I got a lot of questions for you in that last section of listening, but I still have a couple other ones. Let me see. So Godson Creates, they asked, wait, let me make sure I got all the questions. We got lots of people commented about like the album, when we talked about the album. Mark said he went to school with Lupe. They were in the same 4th grade classroom. Shout out to Mark. Godson Create says Method Redman.
Oh, come on, man. Come on, y'all. Oh boy, man, that's hard, bro. That's hard. Oh man, you can't really do that, man. Method Redman.
You want to pass?
Cause they, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna just say this. I'm gonna say why I like both of their styles. Method is just a real smooth, piercing MC. Like just the way he can change his cadence up. So that's why I respect Meth. I love his bars. But I feel like I do enjoy listening to Redman a little bit more. I love animated rappers like them, Busta Rhymes, Ludacris, like even like a Keith Murray in a sense like that. Just like they bring that like extra with them. So
yeah,
I'm not gonna pick. I'm definitely not gonna pick. But I respect them both. I respect them both for sure.
Awesome. Okay. Godson Creates also says, over time, as an artist, how has your creative process changed? One of my favorite questions.
Over time as an artist, I would just say being more open, being more comfortable in myself, not worrying too much about other people's input to a degree.
Yeah.
It really does help because like you're like, oh, should I say this? I'll just say it. Just do it. If it comes to mind, just do it, because even if I don't 100% believe it, if I think it's dope, it's dope. And if somebody hear me and be like, y'all like the way that sounds, that's my type of music, I might be writing for that person because of that bar. You know what I'm saying? So not saying I'm writing for anybody right now, but if you need help, let me know. But my services out there. You gotta plug yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like for real. But yeah, so just being able to be more free, more studying, for sure. Try to ingest as much content as possible. That way you can have something to feed off of. Because being a creative, you always gotta feed off of something. So being a hip hop artist, you know, it goes back to storytelling, experience in life. So my creative process is being able to do that. I'm still trying to get over the hurdle of being more personal in my music. I'm still not there, but I will be there soon. So I'm working on that.
I love that. I also want to add to that question. How do you know when something that you're writing is ready? Like, is it a standard? Is it a feeling? Is it a thought? Is it like what is it?
I don't feel it's ready until like it's actually on wax on a record. This is like, it's like sometimes I'll be like, man, I need to record. Like, and I know my engineer crews like used to be pissed off. And shout out to my other engineer, Johnny Y. But I would come up in there with like songs like far from unfinished. But I just want to hear how it sounds. Like, you know, you can write something all day and recite it in your head all day.
Right.
And, you know, recite to a beat all day.
Yeah.
But when you get to hear it in your ears or through the speakers, it's like, okay, cool, I can rock with this, or nah.
Yeah.
Throw it in the trash. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, it's like you can write it, but like people hear that emotion in your voice too. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it might sound like, okay, it sounds simple when you read it, but like when you spit it, it's like, oh, the way he did that or the way she did that note, it's like, what? You know what I'm saying? And it adds character to the music. So I don't know it's finished until I'm done recording the track and I'm like listening to it. Like I would listen to my track maybe like back to back like 50 times to 100 times just to see like at what point do I get exhausted listening to it?
Yeah.
Or what point where, okay, did I really transition to the next bar like I should have? Oh, I don't like it, so I'm gonna go back to it and then like maybe edit a word out, or you know what I'm saying? So it's never done until like, okay, it's mixed and mastered. I'm not going back to it. You know what I'm saying? So,
Godson Creates says delivery is everything. Absolutely. Yeah. It's just how we, you know, we're natural storytellers just as a people. And so, you know, the vibe and the delivery and emotions gotta pop at the right time. So
right.
It's funny, listening to you saying about when it's ready for you. So for me, when I finished I Am Enough, so I Am Enough was my first single, right? When I like recorded it or re-recorded it years later for the album, and I listened back to it and I cried, that's when I was like, oh, that's it. Like, because I had been listening to it for years, you know,
right.
those scratched versions, those draft versions, or that version that I thought was the recording. But when that thing was mixed and mastered, and I was in that studio and I had like sang it all the way through, and I looked at my engineer and he was all like, I was like, yo, okay, that's it. The other thing was, I also feel like they're never ready. They're never fully ready, because as we continue to be different versions of ourselves, then we hear something different, or you know, we learn a different technique, or we just hear it differently. So I just even say, like, it ain't never gonna be ready. It's never gonna be complete. It's always gonna be something that you can add to the track. Like, I can listen to I'm Enough right now and be like, ooh, I want to re-record it, but I'm not.
Exactly. But you know what? We always feel like that for sure. As artists, we always like, especially when you get, you know, you get more invested in everything, your skill level develops like way more. It's been tracks that I always be like, man, let me go back and re-record that and make it better. But no, because that's a part of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a part of my growth. And I'm gonna tell you off the rip, I'm not a perfectionist. The reason why, and I love my big brother, but I feel like when I see people like really like fight themselves to perfect something, it just ends up sabotaging themselves in the sense of
that's
like,
yo,
people we want to hear this joint. Like, people want to hear your music. You know, I mean, I wouldn't say Dre sabotaged himself because he's a billionaire, but you know, where's Detox? You know what I'm saying? People been talking about it for 10 years. This and that. And then I also look at like, you know, projects like Into the 36 Chambers, Operation Doomsday, the original presses. You can hear how imperfection, like all the imperfections on it. But it adds to the character of that music. And it's like, these are albums that sold maybe hundreds of thousands of copies and shifted the culture. You know what I'm saying? And like, and I understand we're in a new age where like the standard of like audio recording should be at the level of professional, because you can pretty much do it from a laptop at this point. But in the sense, you know, at least my quality is still gonna be mastered and mixed. But like, if I slur a word, or if I kind of stumble over a rhyme that I know I can probably do better, but like, it's there, I might just leave it just for that, because I'm like, yo, it's like, you know, whoever catches it. And it's a part of that moment. You know what I'm saying? It's still raw. You know what I'm saying? Like, I low-key hate re-recording things, because I love the rawness of how it came out. I feel like, and I'm gonna say this, not all the time, but I feel like if I spit it like with that emotion right then and there, and it does come out raw and on point, I can't go back to it.
You can never.
You can't go back to it, even if I know I can spit it like 10 times better. Like, no, at that, like, my emotions was in that, I'm not going back to it. And that's how I feel about, like, you know, like albums like Illmatic. It's like that rawness to it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm most definitely not a perfectionist, because I love the imperfections to certain things. You know?
I love that. Like, you're the first artist I've ever met that said that they weren't a perfectionist. Like, you're the very first person. We've got lots of great comments here. I'm gonna read through some of them. Let's see. Eels, what's good? From I think it says Tuki. Come on, listen. Okay, I'm like,
hold on. Nah, Tuki Mills, what's good, Tuki?
Beauty be held, spoken like a true artist. What's good? What's up, everybody? Let's see. Making all civils. Get some chills. Simplicity is the secret to beauty. I love that comment.
Man, that's real nice.
That's a sweet comment there. I love that.
Right.
The real The Real Vector Prime. Yo, bless up my peoples. What up? Y'all, I love all this engagement that we have on the Tea Time. Make sure that you follow
Jungle
me
in the building.
and
Salute to my boy
Laura
Manny
Eels.
B.
And let's see. So if you have any questions, I know I have one question or maybe a couple in the queue. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and drop it. It can be a question for me or Laura Eels. Right now we're talking about the journey, but we're going to segue over into some other things because somebody mentioned something that I want to make sure that I still remember. Before I get to that question, actually, no, it's gonna take us in a whole different direction.
Give me 1 second. Shout out to Manny B. Yes, he's been a huge part of my development as an artist. He's like a big brother to me in the rap game for sure.
What up?
Been down since the rooftop. You know what I'm talking about. Like for real. So he gonna ask me breads or Space Jams. He already know breads all day. That's a Jordan question.
Okay.
Sneak ahead question. He already know breads. But big respect to him. I would just say this. When I first met this dude, I was at the studio recording. I think his session was before mine, and he gave me 2 of his projects.
Ooh.
I must say, like, this dude, the presentation was like, yo, like, if I ever drop a project, that's how it's gonna be. I'm talking about, like,
he set the standard.
And then when I first popped in, he probably gonna get mad at me, but when I first popped in his music, I was like, yo, this dude reminds me of Jay-Z. Like, for real. But it's like, he's more of a, his writing was just like, and beyond, like, in a different, like, realm, in my opinion. And I just love the way he executes things too. So shout out to him.
I love that too. That's super awesome. Shout out to Manny B. Is that what it is? That's what you said, Manny B. Okay. Shout out to you, Manny. That's awesome. Again, touching back on to a little bit of relationships on how, like, we need people. Like, we like to think that, like, this journey is hours and hours alone, and it is to an extent. But we definitely got to shout out the people that have been those little pockets and dream carriers with us in whatever space and time. And we got another comment that says Manny and Eels are very unique. Oh, I got a lot of questions. Okay, so Godson Creates. He says, I love all these questions that Godson Creates has. Name a bar or line of yours that made you believe in your pen. Ooh.
My first, I would say this, and it probably ain't gonna sound as dope, but the first time I recorded, I think I was what I say, this is when I first started. So I was like, I think I said, spit it like an open mic, as complex as a broken mic, wire tangles and lead lights indicate that I'm flowing right. So that just transition and, like, bringing life to a rhyme, I felt like off rip, like, yo, I can do this. Like, I can do this. You know what I'm saying? And then I think when I actually recorded it, hearing it, I was like, yo, this is dope. Yeah. So that made me believe in my pen for sure. That bar alone, that's when I first started recording. So, like, that made me believe in my pen, like, for sure. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a wonderful question. Okay. Beauty Be Hell says, how long does it take you to create a song? Did you ask me this question like me and Damon this question last?
I think I did. And you know what? I was gonna be ready for the question for myself.
Okay.
Man, let me tell you this. I would say the fastest I've probably created a song over the course of a few days. Okay. But sometimes it's taking me years to finish a song. Yeah. Like, just legit, because, like, I would write verses, and then I would write the verse, and I'm like, damn, how do I follow this joint up? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, how do I really follow this joint up? It's like it's a constant competition with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then sometimes you just, like, I go through writer's drought. Like, just any person in the world, like, it would be times where I haven't written a bar in like 3 months. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like my inspiration just has not been there. to write, you know what I'm saying, going through personal issues and stuff like that.
Right.
I still got songs that I ain't finished. And I think I probably recorded them like in 2018, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it all depends. It all depends on how I feel about attacking that song. It's been times I heard a beat and I'm like, I'm done with this joint within like 2 hours, you know what I'm saying? And I'm in the studio and dropped it, you know what I'm saying? So it all depends on my mood. Yeah. Pretty much.
I was just sitting here thinking of like, okay, so like I think I mentioned last week that I like journal things. So they're like all of my songs, somehow one day they just magically come together. I'm like, oh, and I'm flipping through books and stuff. But I was just sitting here thinking like, I've always wanted to just have a week or weekend, a month to go away and write. Like that's the dream, right? Like that's the writer's dream. Let me take all of my writings, all of the sounds. Let me gather some people and like write. Like I probably got 15,000 albums.
That's my goal. You know? I dream every day. Yes. I win the lottery.
Yes.
So I can just sit and not do anything but like write, skate, do artwork, and that's it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. I wish that for both of us. Like that's so awesome. Dang. Okay. So I done forgot what my question. Anybody got somebody out there while I remember what my question? I'm doing that Auntie Lynn thing again. Auntie Lynn be like, what you saying that, baby? Okay. No, okay. Something that I really wanted to ask you. Tell me about your name. How did you get to the name Laura Eels?
Okay.
Because names are my thing.
Most definitely. So this goes back to like being a kid, right? I always used to hear like Nas shout out like his friend that passed away, ill will and stuff like that, just like stuff like that. But like the terminology ill and hip hop means sick is dope. Like we know what it means. Right?
Yeah.
So I started off as ILLS, and that was just my style when I do my writing and stuff. That was also how I did things. But I feel like at a certain point, like my style is just elevated. So like being like inspired by like Lord Finesse, Lord Jamar, I'm like Lord Quaz. I'm like, okay, cool. Like Lord meaning like you run things pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to being dope, I run it. You know what I'm saying? Like so that's pretty much like I wanted that stamp to be my thing. Like like let me remind people like when I get on this mic, I'm running this thing.
Lord over the thing.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's similar for me. Like I wanted to create a name that I could grow into, something that was gonna be like super big, and something that every time I heard the name, I was gonna be like, hell yeah, come on, man,
and the thing, you're not just a star, you the solar system.
Right, like
think about it.
I'm bringing all the shit. Yeah. Right. So I remember what I was gonna say. So when we were talking about like the songwriting part, and even ties back to what you were saying about learning to be more emotional. What gave me life one year, I was getting like some coaching, like all these different online artist coaches that popped up over the course of time. And this vocal coach, she said in one of her like little classes or whatever that I was listening to, was like when you get like that writer's block, or when you're like just stumbling over what you're trying to create, stop and ask yourself, what is it that you're really trying to say? And that gave me life. And I still have it on a post-it on my wall. And even now, like, it reminds me of just like other things in life. Like if I'm frustrated about something, I see that post and it's like, well, what are you trying to say? And I'm like, good question. I want to know. For anybody that's songwriters out there, try that. That might be super dope and enlightening to help you get through something. Okay, so we have 2 questions in the queue. One question from, I think this is Ranza Kid.
My boy.
What? You said what?
That's my people's right there.
Okay,
yeah.
What up, peeps? What's your next goal with music?
He know. We got to start where we finish. First of all, he should know what I mean by that.
Oops.
So he's one of those. he was at my first show. He was on stage with me in my first show.
Okay.
So we got this whole family, the Faceless Giants. So, but the truth to the question is, right now, I just want to be a better MC, for sure. I'm not really looking at anything crazy right now. I'm gonna treat it as a passion and a hobby for sure. So if I'm not really trying to tackle like an industry thing, you know what I'm saying? Not at this point right now. But my goal is to just stack music, create more music. My main thing is like putting my footprint on this earth while I have this time. You know what I'm saying? For sure. So that's my main goal, is just put my footprint on the earth, regardless if it's through a label, independent, whoever hears it. Yeah. Because I'm gonna tell you this: the most fulfilling thing beyond performing for like hundreds to thousands of people is getting a person in your inbox telling you that your music has made them feel a certain way. Like, I got a friend, she's out there, she's doing her YouTube thing, by the way, but she was somebody that I never expected to like listen to my music. Yeah. And then like one day she popped in my inbox, was like, yo, that Body and Soul track, like that's an old track from back in the day, but that Body and Soul track was like, I bump that like every morning because it's just like, it makes me feel good. Like, it makes me want to, get up and do what I got to do. Yeah. And like that feeling was like, yo, like my voice can like really help other people. You know what I'm saying? So that's my main thing.
Those moments always come at the right time, don't they?
Facts.
It's like,
facts.
Thank you for that message, because it was right on time.
Appreciate it too.
2 questions. Dream collaboration?
Oh man, see, and this is gonna hit me home. I ain't gonna cry or nothing. Man, it's hard right now. My dream collaboration was MF Doom. He passed away recently. But for real, like he was like a real, very real inspiration to me. Like got me through high school type, inspiration. Like, you got those artists that you just listen to. Yeah. Self-care, therapeutic, in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So, it's crazy. It's sad. It's crazy. But him, Guru Gangstar passed away. Those two were very inspirational for me, especially like Guru, because he was more of a MC that spoke on like just just like obtaining like your life goals, being spiritually at peace with like God and everything. You know what I'm saying? On that scale of just like, he was just very inspirational and like what he spoke like on a moral standard of things. Yeah. And that's somebody that I always looked up to. And then like with MF Doom, he was just like straight up like creative, witty, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like his mystique and everything. Like, I feel like that was like one of my dream collaborations that like I would have loved to like been able to say like, oh, my pen and his pen was on the same track and we just ripped this shit to shreds. Yeah. I would say Lupe, but I would have to be like Super Saiyan or something for that to actually go down.
Okay. Cool.
In the comment, for sure. Comment for sure. I'm waiting on comment, man. I've been trying to hit them up, but
anybody out here no comment? Hello.
Right.
Like, hello.
Right. Right.
Those are awesome. Okay, so let's see. Tookie Mill says, got a gift for you, Illa. Okay, Beauty Be Held wants to know, what's your biggest accomplishment in life?
So let's speak on that. That's a big question. That's no question. Now, this is going to go back to the journey, right? Okay. And I would say it's one of my biggest accomplishments, but when it comes to like the music, this is a huge accomplishment. So, this is something that I did not think would even happen within a time frame of it happening. But it was in 2014. So from the span of 2013 to 2014, this happened. Just being on the internet, I posted I remember this like perfectly. I posted a picture of like Legos crate digging. And then a young lady, like she said something on it, but it was in Turkish. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what that means. But I translated it, went back and was like, hey, that's funny, ha, ha, ha. And then I she followed me back. And then like maybe 2 hours later, like that one post started getting like hundreds of comments on it. So I'm like, yo, I'm like, are these bots? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? And it's all in Turkish. So I'm like, yo, am I being hacked or something? So I'm listening to it, and they're like, who is this? Kalora, who is this? So I go to her page because I didn't even pay attention to it. And she got like hundreds of thousands of followers. So I'm like, who the heck is this? So she hit me up. Was like, hey, I like your music. Let's do a collaboration. And I'm like, this is weird, but I'm always open to collab with people, you know, for the most part. So when she did that, you know, I'm studying her. She's a huge hip hop artist from Turkey, and we collaborate, and that thing blows up. I'm talking about like the first day got like 70,000 views, and then they did a remix and all this type of stuff. So that started going crazy. And then her husband at the time, who produced it, was like, I would say like he's like the god rapper in Turkey. Yeah. And then me and him did a track. So it was just like it kind of really blew up to the point where it's like they're requesting a brother and whatnot. So in 2014, yeah, I know, right? So in 2014, which this was always a dream of mine, like to do a show in Europe, like I get hit up like, yo, you know, do you want to do this spot in Vienna? And I'm like, yeah, like for sure. So my family, everybody supported me on that for sure. I get out there. First of all, Vienna's a beautiful place. Like the fact that I was able to travel out the country and it be for music. Yes. Like two birds, one stone. Yes. And like I got to see Vienna, I got to see Germany, I got to see Paris. And it was just like, yo, this is incredible. And it was always something that I always like dreamed of, you know what I'm saying? So it kind of, I would say it kind of threw me off because like I didn't expect it so early, but it was off my bucket list, so I didn't care to do it anymore. Which is gonna sound crazy to a lot of people because you would think like, I want to do this again, but like in the back of my mind, like when I'm done with like a goal, it's like it's done with, you know what I'm saying? Like if the opportunity ever arises, though, I'm always down to do it again. Right. But just that experience, like, you know, it's one thing to do like shows and then like it's like 100, maybe like 40 people, 100 people there, but like when you get on the stage and you can't see the back, yes, it's like it's just a sea of people, and then like they're actually cheering your name. Like I was like, yo, like this is crazy, and I'm like, it was crazy because even after the show, it felt so unreal. Like we had to get rushed to the car because it was like that for sure. It felt like this. That was my taste of like celebrity for a minute. Yes. Like even before the show, like in Vienna, I was getting stopped by a lot of his fans because it's like, oh, can we get a photo? Can we get a photo? Yeah. It was just like, it was just a dope feeling. So like, it was crazy that like in this whole and other world, I'm getting to experience like this, but then back home, I'm here and I'm just living like everybody else. So, but it was very dope. Right. That was like my biggest accomplishments, and I would say it was one of my biggest accomplishments for sure. But I still was able to do shows with people that are really respected in hip hop too afterwards, because that did kind of open up some doors for me too.
That's awesome. I'm sitting here like, friend, can I have your autograph?
Right.
Mail me your autograph now. Like, I didn't even know this about you. That's super cool. I'm super glad for Beauty Beheld for asking that question. Okay, so we got a lot. I got a lot more to ask you about the journey. I'm gonna ask you. I'm here. One more question for the journey, and then I'm going to ask you to talk about your merch, and then I might ask you about self-care, but I think what I'm really gonna do is put you on the calendar for it. Okay. But so my question for you, you know, I have my own set of t-shirts. And they each have affirmations on them, and they're all connected to the journey. So, Which affirmation statement resonates with you the most and why? I am enough. Rejection is redirection. Keep going. The wins are worth it.
I would say keep going. The wins are worth it.
Okay. I knew you were going to say
that. Sure. For sure. The thing is, because I feel like as creatives, and like for people that's not in the realm of creativity, they don't get what we put into this, like the soul. Like I say, like I consider this stuff like my children. I call it my children because it's something that's coming from. So my wins are, first of all, getting it done.
Yes.
Like making sure it's done. Like every show, every stage that I got on, when it was over and done with and the love was shown, it's always was worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if you want to say blood, sweat, and tears, it's always worth it to me. Because this is something that I built, like, and you can't take it away from me. Like the experience that I just shared with you, nobody can take that away from me. And it was worth it. And it was something that, you know, I did it, so I know people can do it. You know what I'm saying? I know it can happen for somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like I would say, it's worth it for sure.
Yeah, I love that. Yep, absolutely. It's crazy because like that affirmation came about because, you know, sometimes in the creative journey, your win, your big win comes like you don't know when it's gonna come, but sometimes it's like forever, and sometimes it can be like a season of back to back to back. But and then so in those moments where it takes too long for that big win to happen, you're just fighting with it. Like, do I quit? Is this working? What am I doing? But when you get that win, it's like, whoa! It just erases. It's like. The Men in Black pen, it just erases all of the bad shit that you.
And you know what? Sometimes you find out that the journey there was more exciting than the actual outcome.
Right.
Like sometimes you find yourself in a point like, man, I wish I was still working towards it. You know what I'm saying? Like for real, you know? Because it's like once it's over with, it's like it's over with. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
You know, luckily being a creative, I can always make something up and do something to it. But it's like, what do you do next? You know what I'm saying? So,
yes. And that what next feeling is so real. Like after I dropped that album, I was like, I felt lost. Like I felt like
right. It is.
Beauty Hell wants to know where's zodiac sign.
Scorpio.
Okay.
People don't like.
What were you about to say? I cut you off.
No, that's cool. People don't like us, but like, no, I get you. And like with that, like it's always that, like, man, how do I follow this up? You know what I'm saying? Like for real. So.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, I just want to thank everybody that's been watching. You all have certainly been amazing with your awesome, dope questions and your comments. I'm so glad that I asked you to be on today. Like, I have learned a lot about you. And okay, I want you to talk about like what you've been up to, like in this merch thing. So you have this merch line, and how I see you just in general, like you don't post a lot of just like your stuff, period. And then when you do, it's like, oh, you want to know more about it. And
I need to. That's my problem. I get yelled at a lot about that.
We could just say it just adds a little mystique to your aura.
I like that. That's my marketing tactic.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about the Bluff line, how it came to be. What does Bluff mean? I've been really want to know where you got the name Bluff, because remember I have a thing about names. So Bluff and just a little something about that.
Oh man, so this goes into like my days of being, and when I say a toy, it's a graffiti term for newbies in graffiti. That's just whack. Okay. But graffiti is like, it's an insult, but I can say that because I was young. So you know, going around just, you know, spray painting and whatnot, tagging up stuff. It started with that. I used to put that on certain things because I was more of like it stems from like the art world, and this is more from visual art, being in galleries and stuff like that. Like, I Bluff was mainly like, I would say in the sense of kind of like trying to combat this whole gatekeep mentality. This is like my anarchy phase, right? So it's kind of like the gatekeeping of the industry. It's like, yo, like a lot of this stuff is like is false, and like I'm not for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so being like in street art, it's like, yo, bluff, like get my name out there. But I sure wasn't going that route because I wasn't that dope as a graffiti artist. So later in life, I'm like, gee, I want to bring it back out because I'm kind of frustrated with the world of like, it's who you know. Like, and I get it. Like, it's who you know. I get it. But like at the same time, it's like, but if the talent there, why can't you?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Present it. Like I was trying to shop. I was really trying to shop my homeboy to some galleries up here, and he's been doing his thing, Grand Rapids, I think South Carolina now, and his work is dope, mad dope. I love it, and I'm trying to shop it to galleries, and it's like everything is like, oh well, we'll see. Yeah. And it's like, well, where has he been? Who does he know? You know what I'm saying? It's like this. And I'm like, damn. And then I'm looking at some of the work on the wall, and I'm like, I know for a fact that because I'm like, gee, because this world. I hope you can still hear me. Hold on.
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay. It's because it's like, man, it's like these cats are fake, yo, like for real. And I'm like, y'all just a big. It's like, I think I was at a gallery when I was thinking, it's like, man, it's all these people, it's bluff. And it sparked in my head, like, gee, yo, let me bring that back out. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be, the style is going to be back to like my, like just kind of like, it's going to be street art focused and whatnot, but it's still going to be my style of art. And then I just wanted to brand it, you know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say it was more like of the most positive thing, but at the same time, I feel like in a sense I'm turning my discouragement and like my my frustration into something positive, as being, let me create something from it, and it's gonna be dope. Yeah. And I'm gonna make sure that this dopeness gets to as many people as possible, and it flourished without me having to know the proper channels. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's kind of anti. It's pretty much, like I say, anti the gatekeeper type thing in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So
that's cool. And so, where can people purchase your merch?
You can purchase it on Bluff Creation. That's the art firm that I'm doing, because I do art for other people too. But right now I'm not taking commissions. Okay. Taking a break. Gotta take a break. Self-care, right?
Absolutely. You said bluffcreations.com?
Oh, no. Bluff Creation on Instagram, and it's going to lead you to my Etsy account. I'm still building the brand. Pretty much more of like a soft launch right now, and then I'm hoping to really build it into like a skateboard brand. And that's another thing. The skateboard is a promise to myself that I made to myself when I was like 20 or something like that. Like, I know I'm not going pro, but I'm definitely going to keep my foot in skateboarding. So that's what's going to come from it. That's my main goal with that. That's my baby right now.
That's awesome. So what's your style of art?
Man, I don't even think I can really put myself in a genre just yet. I would say more of a cartoonist illustration, like more cartoon illustration.
With the graffiti influence.
With graffiti, street art influence, yeah, for sure. So that's pretty much right now, but I'm still kind of exploring more as we go along, for sure.
Yep, and that's part of the journey and the process, is like you're developing and layering what this art is going to be known for, and sometimes we don't ever know it until we look back at it like 20 years later, like, oh, that's what it is. So one more question.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. I was gonna say, and then like the logo itself, though, I chose the elephant because the elephant is like one of my favorite animals. Very
Mine
intelligent.
too.
I'm that type of person. I love seeing like creatures within our world like that are like powerful, but they don't need to like display it 24/7. It's like elephants to a degree. Elephants are like gentle giants. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So like that was just part of it. And then like also like the term elephant's bluff. It's like gee, like we cool and we might give you a warning, like not to mess with us in a certain way. And, and I'm not, you know, so I played around with the wordplay on that too. So yeah.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. You all make sure that you follow. Oh, we got some.
My boy, BTL. Hold on. That's my brother.
Okay. Where do you think hip hop will take us the next few decades?
Ooh,
few decades.
Do you really want to get into this? You can go. I don't know how much time you got tonight, but
I'm like, we got about 5 more minutes.
Right.
Maybe a few decades. That's big. Can we do?
That's hard.
Can we do like 1 decade?
I'm gonna just say this. I really hope that, regardless of what mainstream does and what they have been doing to what, if you want to say, call it hip hop, I still hope there's people there that uphold the essence of the original pioneers. In 30 years, you know what I'm saying, God willing, I'm still here. So in the next few decades, it's still gonna be here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still gonna be an advocate for it. So
I love that. Okay. 2 more questions. This last one from this one. Okay, so we kind of covered this one. So if you could just kind of spitfire that, what's a dream feature for you? Who you would love to work with, and go ahead and like just quickly run through that list you said again.
Like I said, like a dream feature was goooood Gangstar, MF Doom, the late great MF Doom for sure. Common, Lupe. It's so many people out there, but those are pretty much like my main people for sure.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Now before we wrap this up, I want to hear personally a little bit about self-care.
Oh yes.
I want to know, just right now, how do you self-care?
What I do now, I'm an adventure person. I pretty much have my kind of like a nomad and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm not really into zodiac, but you can say, I'm a water sign. So anywhere I can get to where it's like maybe it's the lakefront. Because I used to stay in Rogers Park, so I used to be at the lakefront all the time, just sitting at the beach. Right now, since we're on the tail end of the winter, I've been pretty much like, hiking, doing my long, trail walks and stuff like that. And I'm talking about like, it's been times where I did like some miles, like I'm talking about like maybe a good 7-10 miles type joints. Yeah, for sure. Because it's really a good way to clear your mind.
Yeah.
For sure. I try not to get distracted while I do it, because sometimes we really need to like just wind down from the week and have a mental conversation with ourselves.
Right.
Just to see like, hey, what made me feel this way this week?
Yeah.
How did I handle it? How was it tackled? Did I, have the best way to do that? So yeah.
I love that. Where did you learn that from?
Man, you know what? I can't necessarily pinpoint where I learned it from.
Okay.
Cause it's not like I will read like a lot of books about it or anything, but I feel like it was something that it just came through one day when I was it was probably like, I can't tell you when it happened, but I probably was just taking a long walk one day, and I was like, gee, like, yo, this is very, very, very calming and therapeutic, like for real, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's probably like around like when I was 18, you know what I'm saying? Like,
ooh,
around that time I was skateboarding a lot too, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know what it was? Skateboarding and then just like skating the city at night. It was like a huge thing to me all the time, because it was like it's like the world is your oyster. There's not too many people walking around. The cops are not going to be really hassling you too much. And I will always see like, yo, like every time I'm out here, it's just like, yo, whatever's been stressing me is gone. So it transitioned into like walking and doing that. And it's just like, it's real good. Like, in my opinion, like I feel like a lot of people need to do it, especially if you live in an urban environment.
Yes.
Get out to a forest preserve, drive out to a suburb forest preserve, and like, you know, go with a friend. You know what I'm saying? Do this, do that. Make sure you're safe, of course. But and just and do that for sure.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing. Let me tell you why I love it, because
what's up?
I'll ask dudes about self-care. They be like, like they looking at me like, I just told you I come home from work and I play sports. You know, I'm like, yeah, but
hey, look. Let me be an advocate, right? That video game is self-care, like a mug.
Yes.
But you know what? It's crazy. I think like I stopped playing. Like I still play the video game, but I haven't. Like I've low-key became a part of the person that I never thought I would be. But like I low-key just stopped really playing the video game a lot because it's a reward. You know what I'm saying? In my sense. And I feel like if I keep playing it, I'm feeling like I'm rewarding myself. And if I have not done something that I needed to be at mentally and physically in this realm, I don't want to get on that game. You know what I'm saying? Because
because it's a difference between like self-care and distraction. Like self-care is like absorbing the thing and allowing, and distraction is like I'm gonna think about it till I can't feel. I'm not gonna think about it until I just don't feel it. And that's like totally opposite. So
that's true.
I love that you treat it as a reward. Like that's a very, very healthy thing to do. Okay, now before I dive, because I'm not gonna deep dive in self-care today, I want you to come back in April for sure. So
I'm down.
Yep, I'm gonna schedule. I'm gonna text you as soon as we get off the thing, because you gotta come back and talk about self-care.
I'm all for that, especially amongst my brothers. We need to talk about this a lot more.
Yes. Woo! Okay, so once again, thank you everybody for watching Tea Time with Lynn. This happens every Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Central. I know Lord Eels and Lord Eels and I have enjoyed engaging with you all, answering your wonderful, dope questions. Make sure you follow me and Lord Eels so you can stay abreast of everything that we're working on creatively. And again, both of us wear many hats. And I also got to have Lord Eels come back and talk about the photography stuff. So, you know, follow us, join us. Do you have any projects coming up?
I have a track coming out. It's called Dumale. So this is something. And the reason I called it Dumale because I kind of reference a Doom bar.
Okay.
But at the same time, it was like I wrote it like right after I think it was like New Year's Eve when we got the news that he passed away. And I was like, gee, let me write this joint. And it's still a dedication track, but it's still more of me like just spitting too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm dropping that track soon. I don't know what day. I finally got the master of it, so I'm putting that all together. So stay on the lookout for that. And then as of right now, I'm just creating more stuff for Bluff. If you want to support the brother, you know, instead of, you know, you can go to Bluff, purchase something on there. Yeah. Got my phone cases, got my t-shirts, got my sweats. I'm sorry? You
still have gators too?
I should have the gators up there. I got to double check. I should have them on there. Yeah.
Cool. All right, y'all. Lord Eels, it's been a pleasure.
Most definitely. Thank you.
And I will tell. Wait. Okay, so I'm gonna end it with this. What's one thing that you're going to do to self-care in the next week?
In the next week?
Yo, treat yourself. Like, what's your treat yourself thing?
Man, I need it too. I actually was gonna probably. This is what I do, right? I save spots on Google Maps that I always want to go through.
Yep.
So I'm gonna pick one, drive to it, probably get some dope drone footage and some photography. So yeah.
Awesome. I love it.
I do mini road trips. On my days off.
You do. Yeah. And for me, I am going to take a walk because the weather has been better than what it was a couple of weeks ago.
Who you telling, right? Who you telling?
All right. Well, take care. You have a good evening. And everybody watching on IG Live, you all have a great, amazing week. And I'll see you next Tuesday.